Hello and welcome to this May 28th, 2010 video version of Invested Central's Chart of the Day. I'm Tom Boley, Invested Central's Chief Market Strategist, and it's my pleasure to provide you with today's Chart of the Day. This Chart of the Day is brought to you by stochastics.com, simply the web's best financial charts. Looking back at the last 8 months at Old Republic International Corp, ticker symbol ORI. By the way, it's a $3.4 billion financial company that engages in insurance underwriting. But taking a look back at the last 8 months, really just looking back at the last 3 months, you can see off of the February lows how ORI made this huge move straight up, putting in really what is a flagpole. Very little movement to the downside. This was a straight up move over about 10 weeks. Since then, since we topped at 1550, you can see that over the course of the last 4 or 5 weeks we've been putting in this flag pattern. And the flag pattern, anytime you get into one of these flags after a flag pole, they look a little bit like a piece of pie, where they start getting closer and closer together. You can see the squeezing that's going on here. By connecting the highs, you actually have a downslope, the slope of which is much greater than the slope of when you connect the lows. So that's what causes this pie formation or flag formation. And what you wait for in these types of moves is for a breakout. Now in this case, ORI broke out not only out of this flag pattern but also back above the 50-day moving average, and you can see the volume was pretty nice on this move up. Now going back a couple of months, ORI was very overbought. On this entire move up here, you can see that the RSI stayed mostly above 70 and stochastics were mostly above 80 and even a lot of the time in the 90s. So we were very, very overbought for an extended period of time, and ORI really needed a pause, and that's what we've gotten with this flag pattern over the last 5 weeks or so. You notice the MACD, which surprisingly all the way up, the MACD continued to put in higher highs. So we never really printed a negative divergence here, but on this weakness you can see that the MACD came all the way back down to the center line, actually just a little bit below it, and then it's turning back up. Also, volume trends here are very strong. Even though we did have some pretty big volume initially on the way down to test the 50-day moving average, notice that after the bounce up, the next move to the downside was on much lighter volume. And even the breakdown below the 50-day moving average came on volume that was very, just average when we look back over the course of the last couple of months. So, and with the move on Thursday, we've been able to get back above the 50-day moving average and really start to make this move to the upside look more pronounced, at least in my opinion. So what I'd look for here is a move back up eventually to test this 1530 area, which was the top of the flagpole as far as on a closing basis. If we can break above this level, the measurement actually is from $10 up to the 1530 to 1550 area. So if you break out, you would tack on another 5.3 to 5.5 points, taking us up near the $21 level. So I think if we get a breakout above the 1530 to 1550 area and the volume confirms, I believe ORI could head for $21. So very nice chart indeed. To the downside, what I'd look for, entering at the current price isn't a bad strategy. I would save some powder in case you get back down near this 50-day moving average between the 50-day moving average, which is currently 1361, and the recent low, or the low on Thursday of 1338. So right in that area is where I would fill out the position. If you close back below, say about 1270, 1275, I'd be real careful. That's where I'd draw my line in the sand to the downside. Top side, like I said, initially you're going to have some resistance around 1530 to 1550, but eventually, if we make this breakout on confirming volume, I would look for a move all the way up to possibly $21. I hope you've enjoyed our presentation today. Be sure to check out our chart of the day every day at investedcentral.com. While you're there, sign up for our free weekly Market Pulse newsletter and have the chart of the day emailed directly to you. Happy trading.